You doing well?
Good. Yeah. Doing well. I was gonna go hiking, but I think it's a little too hot, so I think I'll go to the beach and surf and then go to work.
There you go.
Yeah. So let me see. Oh, you got Mark's number?
I have just that one that you gave me.
Okay, that
Is
should
right one?
work. I got two of them in case one of them doesn't answer. He's got a.
What's the other one? Just in case.
Okay, hang on a second. Just give me a second here. Where are you, Mark? Oops. There we go. Okay, the numbers I have are 408-464-3951. And I'm not sure if that's the home phone or 297.
297 was the home. So
Okay, let's try the home then. Try the home first. He may be out and about. He said he'd probably be home. And I think we could just have him tell some stories.
Sure.
Because he's been doing this forever. He's probably got some great stories to tell.
Almost as many as you.
Well, we can compare notes. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah. Sounds like he may not be home. So if that's the case, then
Well, it's Mark Purdy.
Mark, it's Edward Brown and Bruce McGowan.
Hey, what's going on, Mark?
I know Bruce McGowan.
And I know Mark Purdy. You know, before we start, I have to tell you a quick story. I was downstairs in my storage area today. I went through some old Sports Illustrated, and I found an article of the Bengals San Diego Chargers AFC title game in the freezing cold, the one the Bengals won to go to the Super Bowl, and I think it was 1981 against the Niners.
Right.
And I was looking at the bylines of these guys, and Dan Jenkins, Wells Twombly, Tex Mall. I was going, God, whatever happened to all those guys? They're all gone but not forgotten. And now we add Mark Purdy to the list.
There you go.
I covered that game.
You did? Did you? Well, let's talk about that. That'll be good. Because I covered the 49ers game that same day, so we can. That'll be cool. We can tell a little story there. All right.
Okay.
Because Mark and I are about. Were you born in '52, Mark?
52, yeah.
What's your birthday?
June 18th.
Oh, geez, you're only a
I
couple.
just had a birthday.
Did you? You had yours?
No, he just did.
Oh, yes, he did. He's like you're 3.5 weeks younger than me. How about
So
that?
we'll call Bruce the old man.
I'm the old man.
Okay, so what we do is just a quick 2-minute introduction here that we do. So just kind of stay with us here. Here we go.
Not going anywhere.
Welcome. You're listening to Sports Econ 101, the show where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, Bruce McGowan, longtime sports radio personality. Now, today we have a new guest on, don't we?
Yeah, we have a good friend of mine who actually is, I was just teasing him, he's 3 weeks younger than me. Mark Purdy from the San Jose Mercury News, who has been working in the Bay Area for many, many years, and he's got some great stories to tell about some of the people and games and events that he's covered in his long and distinguished career. So we're going to have a fun time.
Yeah, a little nostalgia.
A little nostalgia. That's what life is all about, It's the memories.
And at each commercial break, we're going to ask a sports trivia question. In fact, for you old guys, this is Major League teams, 100 years.
Oh, okay.
We'll talk about that.
Sounds good.
There's some old stuff and some new stuff.
Okay. A little variety.
Something
Potpourri
old,
is the
something
word.
new, yeah. Something borrowed, something blue.
All right.
All right. I also want to talk about Kevin Durant giving up like $10 million
That's
so
right.
that others could sign.
Yes.
And also saved the Warriors a lot of luxury tax money.
Yeah.
So not only did it take money out of his pocket, but it also gave the team a little bit more extra,
To go out and buy some other players that have improved the team, actually.
Exactly. And also, I thought it was kind of neat. LeBron was talking about how Curry deserves to make $80 million a year.
Well, he is probably with his endorsements.
Well, no. But I think
Yeah.
you mean specifically for
Oh.
just playing. But I think that's pretty.
Wow.
In a way,
Well,
it's kind
he-
of classy because LeBron
Yeah.
is LeBron, and be able to say, this guy earns it. How much does LeBron make per year?
That's a good question. We're going to
We'll
ask
ask
Mark
Mark.
Purdy. Yeah, Mark should do that.
All right. Okay. So this segment of Sports Econ 101 is sponsored by Pacific Private Money, providing mortgage investments that are still currently yielding over 7.5%, secured by Bay Area real estate. It doesn't get any more conservative than that. In fact, their average yield is only about 56% loan to value. So that's why they have no losses. Hear that? No losses.
That's all German to me. Although I do speak German. So I should say that's all
Oh, Greek?
Egyptian. Oh, Greek. Yeah, yeah.
Egyptian. I've never heard anyone say, that's all Egyptian to me.
Well, exactly. How many people speak it?
Not
I
too
did.
many.
Actually, they don't think they speak Egyptian in Egypt. do they?
Arabic, right?
Arabic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Check them out at PacificPrivateMoney.com. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back.
You've been over to Africa before, haven't you, Mark?
I have not been to Africa. It's one continent I have not been.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've always wanted to go. The place that really fascinates me is Uganda. in Kenya. You know, the
Well,
wild.
Christian, my son's going to.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's going to do some.
And Madagascar sounds interesting too. There's a lot of wildlife that is very rare.
You get to play with the lemurs.
The lemurs. There you go.
Okay, we just saving this.
And the Galapagos Islands off the coast of South America. That's another kind of out of the way, but.
I have been there.
Really? Have you? That's right. A couple years ago, I remember that. You went on a. Was it a vacation or was it an assignment? I can't
Well,
remember.
I went last summer. Went on the way down to Rio for the Olympics. I went to South
That's right. You wrote a little column about your experience. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Isn't Easter Island close?
No, Easter Island's way out in the middle of the Pacific. It's very remote. It's one of the most remote places on the face of the earth. That's why that whole thing about the heads is so interesting.
Weird, yeah.
Still, that's a mystery that nobody's ever figured out.
Well, they had nothing to do all day, so they might as well build those heads.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, ready? Here we go.
There you go.
Well, welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Bruce McGowan. Bruce, who's on the phone?
Yeah, a good friend of mine, Mark Purdy, who, if you're in the Bay Area or you go online or just keep up with sports, he is a household name around here. Has been covering just about everything for the last three some odd decades. And Mark is also just getting ready to retire, so he's sort of in the retirement mode, but not quite yet. It's sort of like Carl Yastrzemski doing his celebratory around the leagues, tour. I remember that vividly. Mark, I don't know if you ever or Cal Ripken, but I remember Carl Yastrzemski. I remember dealing with him a lot, and he was always a sourpuss. But when he was on his farewell tour, man, this guy was just a prince of a human being. You ever deal with Carl Yastrzemski?
I think I talked to him maybe once. Yeah, that's that famous line he said about Ted Williams, right? He was saying hello, just be prepared to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Now he was going to be a nice guy. I did see Trumsky play last game in Park, and I forget why I was there.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember why I was there, but I was there for something.
Yeah, I lucked out because Pete Ward, you remember him, he was a kind of a journeyman player, but a pretty good player with the White Sox in the 60s. He was friends with Carl, and I was working in Portland, and Pete was a batting instructor for one of the local colleges, and I did an interview with him, and I asked him who he knew, and he said, "Oh, Carl Yastrzemski is a friend of mine." And I thought, "What? The Red Sox are going to be in Seattle?" I said, "Can you call him up and just let him know that I'd love to interview him a feature?" "Oh yeah, I can get you an in with him." So I go up to Carl Yastrzemski. "Hey, your friend Pete Ward." Pete Ward is no freaking friend of mine. And the whole thing was a put on.
Yeah, he was yanking your.
Do you ever have somebody do that to you, Mark? They just kind of kidded around with you, and you really.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Well, particularly in baseball.
Yeah, who was?
The baseball code is screw with you.
Yeah.
Well, why is that?
Well, my motto is opinions on demand, which has kept me in the column writing business for all these years. And I do have an opinion about that. I think it's because in baseball, the culture of the game is such that, unlike, it's changing somewhat as you get more college guys into Major League Baseball. But it's still probably dominated by non-college players, MLB. And I don't mean to be a snob when I say that, but as opposed to other sports, in baseball, like the NFL locker rooms, almost everybody's been to college. Sometimes they don't go to class, but they've been on a college campus for a few years.
They've been brushed by
That's for like there's something else out there.
They've been brushed by the veneer of education.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And baseball players, you're drafted out of high school, or if you're a Caribbean player, you're signed as a teenager, really, and then immediately you're just thrown into these low minor leagues where you're pretty much at the ballpark, or you're riding the bus with the other baseball players, or you're bunking out with 3 other baseball players in a house trailer, or whatever. You're just with each other all this time, and you put 19, 20-year-old guys in an environment like that. They're going to be 19 or 20-year-old guys, and it kind of becomes developed somehow this culture where, like, the more a-hole-y you are, the cooler you are. And so that leads into the major league clubhouses as more and more. I mean, I used to say I could walk in the clubhouse and within a day or two of covering a team, you could tell which guys has gone to college, which has. And again, I don't mean to be a snob when I say that. It's the way the culture operates. And so if you're covering baseball, you better be prepared to deal with it.
Yeah.
I bet some of the players trying to one up the other player, don't they?
Yeah. The more able you are, the cooler you are. And my first experience with that before I moved to the Bay Area in 1984 to work in the Northeast, I worked in Cincinnati, and so I caught the tail end of the Big Red Machine over those teams, and those guys really dug into each other they're the world champions. It's kind of weird. And then Tony Perez was kind of the traffic cop, and he kind of go in, and he was like most mature guy there. He was from Cuba, and he had not been to college, but he just had that personality. It just, I mean, sure, yeah, I was in locker rooms, and I remember one time I went to interview a friend. I showed up to, I didn't know what, when Russ Butler first came in,
Yeah.
to talk to him, he had kind of a hot start for me. I didn't know what he looked like, and I went into the Braves locker room, and is Russ Butler here? And I forget who it was. Somebody pretended they were Russ Butler, like about 5 minutes before I figured it out. No, I'm not Russ Butler.
How did they treat Joe Morgan?
You know, Joe was maybe the smartest guy in that room, and he had been to college, right? He had been to like community college. Did he go to? He went to.
Somewhere in Oakland, right?
Yeah, no, he did. He did play a little college, small college ball.
It was one of the community colleges in the East Bay.
Yeah, yeah. He's from the East Bay, of course.
And he went to. I'm gonna look it up before we're done with this. Anyway, so he had been to college, and it wasn't a 4-year college; it was a 2-year college. So again, like taking classes and other things, and he would take, you know, that was a locker room full of big personalities, but he would kind of stay quiet. And I remember talking to him about that once, and I'd say, "Gee, some days you're noisy, some days you're not. You know, what's that about?" He goes like, "You notice the days that I'm not afraid to talk. I got 2 kids, right?" So his attitude was, if you're playing well, you can say whatever you want. If you're not, you should probably keep your mouth shut.
Smart advice.
Yeah, right. I bet Ken Griffey was kind of a tough guy, wasn't he?
No, I found him to be great. How about you, Mark?
In that locker room, he and Dan Dreesen were kind of the quiet younger guys.
Yeah.
Too much. No, it was the bench rows, and then Joe when he was playing well, and then Perez was kind of the big, you know,
Traffic cop, like you said. Yeah, yeah.
And he was one guy who kind of come in and you know, hey guys, settle down or whatever. And then later on, Tom Seaver joined that team. You remember?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he was. I learned a lot about baseball from that guy. I know other people had difficulty with him, and it was kind of an awkward thing. Bruce, you've had this experience too, where Seaver was always good with me. I don't know if he thought I had questions. I don't know what. I have no idea. But I learned a lot about pitching from him and how pitchers prepare and so forth. I remember one like 2-hour-long talk we had at spring training once in both places. But I could see, but Tom would sometimes treat other guys not so well, and it would kind of make you feel uncomfortable. So like, am I supposed to, you know, say, hey Tom, you know, knock it off? I mean, I didn't have. I was a young guy, he was an older guy then, but it was kind of. You probably had that experience too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Somebody's been very professional and good with you, and then you see him maybe abusing another reporter.
Yeah.
Not quite sure how to react.
I always had that with Barry Bonds, and I got along great. I think it was probably because I did a bunch of interviews with him before he came to San Francisco when he was in Pittsburgh, and I asked him a lot about baseball history, and he appreciated the fact that I knew that. And I think the thing with Barry was, tell me if I'm wrong, Mark, because you had obviously your own relationship with Barry Bonds. You covered him as closely as I did, if not even closer. You know, if you get off to a good start with a guy like that, he's not always going to be great with you, but most times, more times than not, you know, he will sit down and talk with you and answer your questions. And I never had a problem with Barry Bonds, not once. I saw him being rude to a lot of people, though. What was your experience with Barry Bonds like?
You know, I just thought he was a weird guy.
He was kind of strange.
And I had good and bad experiences with him. And,
Yeah.
you know, the first time I remember I talked to him was the first year he showed up there at spring training, and I went up and introduced myself and said, look, here's who I am, here's what I do. Promise I don't want to bug you except unless I really need something from you. But you know, today I just like to work on, you know, I'm working on a column about, you know, you being a Bay Area guy and how come with the Giants. I wonder, you know, and people, the talent is everybody assumes they just were naturally gifted, and Barry wasn't some sense. But they said, I know, like Michael Jordan, you know, in the summers when he was a basketball player growing up, he would go to like 3 different playgrounds a day to play games he worked at, and I'm sure you did as a young guy too. Maybe you could give me the name of one of your youth league coaches, your little league coaches, something I can call him up, and I don't have to bother you about this. And he said, yeah, I'll give you his name. He's 6 feet under the ground, and then he turns around and walks away.
Whoa.
Jeez.
So I'm standing there going like, really?
Ooh.
Well, tell you what, hey Mark.
There was a teammate sitting next on the stool there next to his locker. I don't want to tell the guy's name.
Well, hold
Yeah,
on.
hold that thought, Mark. Hold that thought because we have to cut to a quick break. We have these hard breaks coming up. Okay, first question: the Colorado Rockies, and if you know the answer, don't answer until we get back to break. The Colorado Rockies began their franchise late in the century in 1993. In their very first season, they already produced their own National League batting champion. Who was it? All right, don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back. Sorry, the studio gives us these hard breaks. And,
Sorry.
How hot is it down there in San Jose today, Mark? It's almost 90 up here.
No kidding.
Yeah, almost 90.
we did. My wife and I decided not to go anywhere for the fireworks, and
Yeah,
I went ahead and
smart move.
I recorded them.
Yeah.
And boy, the San Jose one were the best.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. They've got. Well, they have also. They don't have that fog ruining it. San Francisco. It wasn't ruined by the fog, but
No, but I mean, these the ones that they went outside the camera.
Yeah.
That's how big these things were. They were just
Yeah.
great. The ones in Pleasant.
oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we got the little. We're supposed to have a little bit of a heat wave for the next
Yeah.
few days. The weekend's supposed to be real nice. Yeah. See, the Giants lost again today. That's not a surprise. Yeah.
Back to 1983.
Yeah, I guess Chris Stratton pitched his first game of the majors today. Gave up 4 runs in the first 2 innings and then pitched like 6.
But he said they didn't find out he was going to pitch in like a half hour.
Yeah, Johnny Cueto had some kind of a ear infection.
Ew.
All right.
All right.
Here we go.
You guys ready?
Yes.
All right. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here along with Bruce McGowan. First trivia question. The Colorado Rockies began their franchise late in the century in 1993. In their very first season, they already produced their own National League batting champion. Who was it?
Well, I think I know, but I'm going to let Mark try to answer it too, see if he has a different
Well,
one.
was Todd Helton on that team? I don't even know.
No, this would be 1993.
Yeah, he came a little later.
A little later.
No, I don't know.
Andres Galarraga?
That's correct,
Yeah.
Andres.
You know, it's always funny with Andres. You always think of him as that power hitter. He hit the longest home run, I think it was. Didn't he mark it in San Francisco's new ballpark? I think it was something like 500 feet, something crazy
I
like
don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
remember.
interesting.
only keep track of the homers in the Cubby Cup.
There you go. And Bonds has about half of those.
I don't have, you know that story. You know, I was the guy who came up with that name.
Yeah, I do. That is
Did
kind
you
of
really?
Mark came up with a name for McCovey Cove, which I think is a great
Yeah,
idea
sure.
because McCovey hit so many long balls and he would have hit them into the
Well,
cove.
also McCovey,
Yeah,
McCovey, you know.
Well, and you know,
But also, you know, when that ballpark was getting built, you know, they were going to have Willie Mays Plaza, the Willie Mays statue, and I thought, well, what are they doing with McCovey? And found out they really weren't. And
which is shameful,
yeah,
or was.
there were well at that time. You remember Willie was kind of in a weird place in his life.
Yeah.
To get that back.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And he, I think, believed the Giants had kind of forgotten about it.
Yeah.
Weird deal to imagine, but
Yeah.
you know, he's one of the greatest guys in the world.
Oh, super guy.
And so I thought, well, what are they doing there for Willie McCovey at this? It turned out nothing. But, well, maybe we should put their name. Because as you mentioned, if he'd been playing, he would have, a big left-handed hitter, he would have hit a lot of balls.
Oh yeah.
My vision was, or my intent was, so you put that name on that, and I could just look in the future and I think this happened. Kids will say, why is that called McCovey Cove? And then the parent gets to say, well, let me tell you about Willie McCovey, right?
Yeah.
And baseball, that kind of sport.
And they'll say the guy who named Willie McCovey was Mark Purdy.
That's right.
You know, it's been great for Willie.
Yeah.
And then only like a year or two after that did I realize, boy, I'm glad I don't have many good ideas in my life.
That was a good
That was
idea.
a very
That was a
good
great.
idea.
Probably
Well,
the first time anybody from San Francisco thought somebody from San Jose had it.
well, you know what's interesting?
But you know, I thought, you know, if they hadn't agreed to do that, San Francisco and the Giants had not agreed to go along with my idea to name them Cody Cove. By now, it would have been like Taco Bell Cove.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the idea about remember, San Jose almost stole the Giants from us.
That's right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
In fact, I remember watching Willie McCovey hit one out of Candlestick Park, which, I mean, if you guys remember it,
Yeah,
I mean, that was,
Yeah.
I don't know how many
It was closed in, huh?
Yeah, well, you know, they closed it in 1970, and before that, he would hit them out over the bleachers, and they would bounce around in the cars in the parking
Yeah.
lot. I mean, he was that powerful. Growing up watching him, it was an awe-inspiring kind of thing, and getting to know him later, one of the first games I covered, I actually went up to him and got an interview with him. He just couldn't have been as nice as anybody you can imagine. I mean, the guy was just a gentleman.
Yeah, you mean unlike what Barry Bonds did with me?
Yeah, exactly. But
So to finish that,
yeah.
So I'm standing there, and Matt Williams is sitting on the stool next to there, and he looks at me, he was like, "Better get used to it."
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But then
Kind of rolls his eyes.
Barry would be very cooperative.
Oh yeah.
It was odd. I said to him once, "So I get paid the same whatever you do, whether you MFP or whether you."
That's good.
Or not, I don't. It's okay with me. If you don't want to talk someday, just tell me you don't want to talk. That's cool. But I said I didn't understand. Like this, if he had a bad game, particularly like in a playoff or big game, he would like talk a lot about like how I screwed up. I didn't.
Yeah.
But then if he hit like 2 home runs or 3 home runs, you want to go talk to him about that.
You wouldn't want to talk.
And yeah.
Yeah.
No,
interesting.
Done. I don't know it. Well, and then so then I said to Barry, I said but I said, and that's okay. You can do whatever you want. But then don't come and tell us you guys only write about me when I screw up.
Well, what's interesting, relating to your story. Yeah, no, you're right. And it's interesting. I have always thought about this as a kind of a weird coincidence. Bill Walsh was the same way when the 49ers would win, which is most of the time. Walsh could be very curt and defensive. When they would lose, he would show a part of himself that was not available most of the time, and it was really interesting. You could see he was really hurt by the loss, and he would handle it really well. And I asked him about it years later before he passed away, and he says, if I talk, he said, you're not going to learn anything from me about how we won because you saw it, but you need to know how we lost because I can explain it better. And that was his rationale.
That's good.
So I appreciate that. Maybe Barry was thinking the same thing. Maybe he was saying, hey, you saw the home run, you write about it. I hit it, I see it, it's gone. I don't want to think about it. But when you,
that's fine.
Yeah.
Then don't gripe and say you only write about me when I do bad things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I gotta appreciate the humility, though.
Well, it is an interesting. At least he's willing to talk. Because I know a lot of guys. For instance, Jack Morris and Dave Steve, 2 great pitchers in the '80s, always effusive when they'd win. Great to talk with. After a game, they'd lose a game, which was pretty rare. What a couple of jerks.
Well, it's funny because you mentioned both pitchers. You know? And
well, pitchers are a little tighter sometimes.
Because you got to go, okay, what did you do to mess up this game?
Did you find pitchers more interesting as people to talk with, Mark, just because they're kind of off on their own little island most of the time? They only play starting pitchers, I'm talking about once every 5 days. So while they're a part of the team, they're still kind of separate, and they're kind of a little more cerebral, it seems like.
You could catch a pitcher on an off day, and it was an interesting pitcher. And a lot of those guys are interesting. That was a really good strategy.
Who are some of the guys you enjoyed talking with over the years in baseball?
In baseball?
Yeah.
Well, as I mentioned, Tom Seaver. I learned a lot about pitching from him. Joe Morgan, of course. I'm trying to think. Carney Lansford. Always very good.
Now, were there any guys who you had a little bit of stars in your eyes before?
Probably when he was a young guy like me.
Not in baseball, because I'll be honest with you. When I was a kid growing up in this little town, Ohio, my dad was not a baseball fan. He never took me to a game.
Wow.
He was a big football and basketball fan.
Interesting.
Usually games I went to when my little league team went to Roslyn Field and the rest of the place. So in baseball, no, not so much. Some of the other sports, yeah, a little bit. I mean, Joe Namath was, when I was growing up, he was one of my favorite athletes. And so the first time I heard from him, that was kind of daunting.
Mm-hmm.
You can find out these are people that they do extraordinary things on the field, but they're still people. And you find something that they are eager to talk about. The trick is trying to find that kind of area where they will open up about something. Because you never, if you find that right button, it's pretty remarkable. I should mention, I didn't want to make this big deal that I'm retiring. I just kind of want to write one column and see you later. But my bosses said, no, you should announce it earlier, and then you should do like a series of columns about your best interviews, your best games you've covered.
Sure.
Great idea.
Yeah.
So I agreed to do that, and so I'm working right now on this piece about my 5 best interviews. And
who are they?
well, you'll have to read them.
SanJoseMercury.com.
One of them we just mentioned, Bill Walsh.
Okay.
Yeah. But I went to lunch with Muhammad Ali.
I was going to ask you about Muhammad Ali. What kind of a guy was Muhammad Ali, and when did you interview him? Late in life, or when he was still?
Yeah, after he was already. I mean, I'm old enough that I covered some of his latter fights,
Mm-hmm.
and he was in full Ali mode then, pushing the fights and being a real he's not doing interviews. Don't even show up. Don't even come because he's not going to talk. And so we all, I guess, independently thought, well, we'll just come down and watch him sign the autograph. Maybe he'll change his mind. So after he's done doing that, he's done signing the autograph, he looks up and the guy's going, no interviews, no interviews. And Ali comes over to us and goes, you guys want to have lunch?
Wow.
He had, I don't think he knew me, he knew my face. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I've been around, I covered some of his fights, I've been participated in some interviews with him. And so, so we walked across the street, I'll never forget, we were walking across the crosswalk from the San Jose Convention Center to the hotel across the street where he was staying. And you're in the crosswalk, it was just hilarious because you will pull up to the crosswalk and stop and you can see this like double take. Like, Ali, what's Ali doing here? And they started honking horns and Ali like did a little shuffle and shadow box in the middle of the crosswalk.
Boy, he was a showman, wasn't he?
How old was he at that time?
This was he was in his 40s.
Yeah.
Oh, and so sat down to lunch and answered any question we wanted.
Wow.
And I remember he left a $50 tip to the waitress.
Sweet.
Told some sort of parable about, I guess, ran or something about, he said, let's just go. And he goes like, and don't, I just like, I'll leave a tip and I won't even look at these because that shows you're just showing off.
Huh.
And,
I like that.
And he, he's a very spiritual guy. A lot of contradictions, right? But very spiritual guy, and it was a real remarkable experience.
I bet it was. Yeah, when he walked in, I only met him once, and it was much later on in the late 90s. He showed up to the media room at Super Bowl headquarters in Atlanta and just sat down to watch the TV with all the reporters, and all the reporters kind of sat around him on the floor like a bunch of little kids. I'll never forget Lowell Cohn sitting right at his feet and looking up at him with this look of like a child who was talking to Santa Claus.
Yeah.
It was and he had that presence about him, didn't he?
Yeah,
I mean,
nobody had more charisma than him.
Yeah.
And I remember asking him that day, so everybody wants to know about your health and how you're doing. Do you ever think fighting led to this, and do you ever regret, maybe staying too long to fight? His answer was, I'm paraphrasing, nobody would know who I am if I had been a fighter.
Yeah,
Wow.
true.
Hey,
Trade-off.
Mark, stay with us. This is good stuff. All right, second trivia question. When the American League began in 1901, what was the name of the Cleveland team? All right, we're talking baseball.
Gotcha.
All right, stay with us. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back. Good stuff. Now, I still say, watching both boxers, that Mike Tyson in his prime would have beaten Ali.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think Mike Tyson would have given him a fight, though. I think Ali would have known how to play with him. I think Ali was just too smart. That was the difference.
He was definitely smart. That part's true.
Look at the way he maneuvered George Foreman into using up all his energy in four.
Well, that's true.
It's funny. George Foreman talks. Oh, God, that guy was scary. It's so interesting, though, Mark. I've heard George Foreman say recently. He said, the best thing that ever happened to me was losing that Ali fight because it took me to a place I didn't want to go, but I needed to go, and it made me into a much more well-balanced person. And isn't it interesting how sometimes like one simple but terrible experience can make a difference in a positive way?
Well, because I remember Foreman being a real bad, tough guy, right?
After that, he was just like Mr. Nice Guy.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure. Yeah. You covered a lot of boxing, didn't you, Mark?
Yeah, well, in the days when everybody covered
Yeah.
really interesting.
Actually, it'd be really interesting to talk about what the decline in boxing.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Okay.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
Here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Again, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Bruce McGowan. Here was our second trivia question. When the American League, we're talking baseball, began in 1901, what was the name of the Cleveland team? Mark, you know the answer to that?
I think I might know this. I'm a native Ohio guy. Is it the Spiders?
No, this is actually before.
The Spiders were in the 1890s.
Yeah, the 1890s. But yeah, so they weren't part of the American League.
Naps?
No?
No.
No, we actually.
Oh, the Pilgrims.
No. Well, that's Boston.
I know it's Boston. Just for some reason.
The Blues.
No, that's right. You told me.
Remember that
a couple weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago, I had a
Blues.
question that was similar. The Cleveland Blues.
The Cleveland
That's
Blues.
strange.
It is
I'm not
strange.
sure.
I can see the St. Louis Blues, but I guess they play blues in Cleveland, don't they?
Yeah.
Maybe I meant the color blue. I don't know.
Yeah,
Mark, what do you think,
maybe
Mark?
the North versus the South.
Yeah, but I think it's just like the Columbus Blue Jackets, Mark. You think that's what it's all about?
I don't know. I don't know where the Blues came from.
That's interesting. Mark Purdy is our guest, and we were talking about boxing and your experiences with Ali. And Edward posed a good question during our break. He was saying that, and it's true. Unfortunately, pro boxing has become sort of a secondary sport, like horse racing, and even stock car racing has lost a lot of popularity in recent years. Why do you think boxing has lost so much of its appeal, Mark? Because on the surface, it still is a pretty raw, compelling sport to watch, and yet the numbers of people watching it and paying attention to it just has dropped appreciably.
Yeah. Well, again, opinions on demand. I think boxing did it to itself. It used to be there was like one champ, and then all these different organizations came about, and all these different champs. But I think the big thing that occurred, Bruce, you'll remember when we were kids, a lot of Muhammad Ali fights run network TV.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
were on Saturday afternoon White World of Sports or whatever. And the model back then was the fighters would start out and have a lot of their fights on network TV to kind of build up interest in them, and then they would jump to maybe the pay-per-view or those days, what was it, full service. Those were the biggest fights. There were a lot of fights on a weekly basis on network TV. Well, eventually HBO and Showtime cut up, and they started taking away those kind of weekly fights, put on their networks.
Well, plus you have the MMA now.
Well, but that came along later.
True.
Boxing was suffering before this.
Okay.
And my point is that the guy sitting at home on a Saturday afternoon or Friday night, could not see the best fighters because they were on HBO, which he may not pay for, right? He may not have them on his package. And so those guys were instead of building their reputations on network TV, now all of a sudden, you kind of had to be in the know about boxing. Maybe it was more of a niche sport, and
Interesting.
that has really damaged it. Yeah, 60 years ago, boxing and horse racing were probably the two
Oh.
sports behind baseball.
No
right?
question. No question.
Now neither one is in the forefront imagination. And the other thing is, I think a lot of great athletes who used to be boxers now become basketball players, football players, because there's more consistent big money there.
Yeah.
So the best athletes are no longer boxers.
I mean, I remember boxing being big when I was a kid, but horse racing, it was only the three majors.
Right, but I'm talking about like now in the early part of the 20th century, probably right up until maybe the 1940s.
Yeah.
Because there was in those days the NFL wasn't as huge.
Yeah.
The NBA was definitely
Nothing.
Wasn't
on the
it?
radar.
Yeah.
And it was one of the few things you could gamble on.
Yeah, no, that's true. We could
In every town, the horse track was kind of the place to be if you wanted a little excitement.
Yeah.
Then you got a lot of competition, and the horse race industry again kind of turned on itself and became this niche thing. Like you kind of had to be in the know to get involved in the breeding and all this stuff.
Well, also the 1919 Black Sox scandal probably had an effect on gambling on baseball.
Right,
Yeah.
but baseball was smart there. Of course, hired the commissioner to clean that up, and that baseball also baseball is a team sport. There was a Civil War historian named Bruce Catt who wrote this line that I'll never forget, which is that baseball is the biggest conversation the Earth has ever had. And
Great line.
I love talking about baseball for some reason more than almost any other sport. I guess it's just because the way the game's played, personalities, I don't know.
Well, I think partly because it is a team sport, but there's a lot of individual, because it's just the batter when he's up there.
And there's a lot of leisure time to think about things, about statistics.
And
strategy.
almost everybody has played baseball.
Yeah, in our generation and before, that's true.
So that made it different from horse racing, right?
Yeah.
But the horse racing, in my view, kind of diverted too much, where they got too influenced by gambling, and it became more of a gambling thing than a sport.
Yeah, no question.
That really sent them in the wrong direction.
Why is hockey, now I've always, this may be a rhetorical question to ask because I have my own ideas, but why do you think hockey, it's always been kind of a niche sport, it's an extremely popular sport in places like Montreal and Detroit and even in San Jose, but it has never had the kind of universal appeal that the NBA or NFL or Major League Baseball has.
Because in Houston, it doesn't get cold enough.
Well, is that part of it, Mark? Because most people don't learn how to ice skate, so they don't.
Yeah, I think the fact that most kids don't play it as a kid when they're young. I think that has something also you only have so much room on your plate. I can't keep up with everything going on in sports. I'm phased to it. So if you were a kid growing up and there's football and basketball and baseball, now what's going to be your next sport? If you're going to follow it, is there a routine to follow it? Hockey in Canada, of course, you go up there, and I covered a lot of particularly playoff series in Canada in Edmonton, spring, and it's like nothing else exists in hockey, right?
Yeah.
I mean, some places you could probably play it.
Up there, yeah, and
You play it 365 days a year.
It's part of the culture, and I think, I don't know. I always say hockey's either the fourth major sport or the largest cult sport. I don't know.
It is a cult sport. I mean, the people who follow it are really,
It's either the biggest cult sport or the smallest major sport.
There you go.
I also think people, if you've never been to a hockey game in person, it's hard, I think, to follow on TV what's really going on. I think you need to see a game in person.
I agree.
All these guys, and you get a sense for how the game works. I mean, I have people say, "Yeah, I don't get it." I always say, "Well, you like the football, right? Yeah. Well, in the NFL, like the quarterback drops back, he's got like 2.5, 3 seconds to decide what he's going to do with the ball. He's going to throw it. Is he going to pull it down and run with it? Is he going to toss it out on an outlet pass? Is he going to throw the ball away? What's he going to do?" Well, in hockey, every player is like the quarterback that has the puck, right?
Yeah.
Every player that touches the puck is like the quarterback, and he's got 2 seconds to decide what he's going to do, or he's going to get his block knocked off. And is he going to pass it? Is he going to skate with it? Is he going to drop it off to somebody else? And that happens dozens of times a game, right?
Yeah.
That's why I find it fascinating. And people say, "Well, gee, I hadn't thought about that part of it before." And so I think that when you watch enough hockey and you see the skill it takes and what they're doing, I think you gain an appreciation for it, particularly in a building stuff where you get a sense for the speed. But you got to get people in the building, and this is where hockey kind of hurts itself, right? The fans who love hockey, right? And they fill up the building, but it's the same guy, right? It's the same in the Bay Area. They probably rotate maybe 150,000 different people.
Well, you got to get near the glass too. If you're way up high,
Even upstairs. But my point is that so the SAP Center holds 17.5 or whatever, and between partial season tickets and everything, it's probably the same 100 to 150,000 people going through that. But the other people just don't go.
Yeah.
You don't go, you don't get the sense of what the game's really about.
No, you can follow it on the radio and television and the newspapers, but it's not quite the same as going. Well, I want to ask you before we let you go, because we know you're busy, and Mark is working on a couple of books, which I think, down the road he's talked about that you should give a plug for before we let you go. But I got to ask you about Paul Brown, because when you were a young reporter for the Cincinnati Enquirer, is that what you? I think you got to know him pretty well, and he was in his later years, and he was kind of a mythical figure. Tell us a little story about Paul Brown.
Yeah, well, I feel fortunate that when I was starting my career, Paul was around, and also some of the other, NFL legends. I once spent an afternoon with George Halas in Chicago. But Paul, I got to know because he was the general manager of the Browns, and he was a crusty guy. And as you know, he hired Bill Walsh as his assistant, and Bill worked for him for 8 years as an offensive assistant, offensive coordinator. And it was always funny when I'd be listening to Bill and I hear him say something, I'm like, "Where's that before?" "Oh, right, right."
Yeah.
But Paul, there was Paul's way, and then there was everybody else's way.
Yeah.
And he had this way of fixing you with a glare that like melt you in your tracks. And I remember the first time I asked a question he didn't like, and it was like he stared at me for what seemed like 30 seconds, but it was probably 5 seconds. And it was a question after he fired a coach, I think Homer Rice, for that. And he said, "Are you saying you made a mistake when you hired this guy?"
Oh, yeah.
And he says, "Why do you want to be? Why do you want to hurt a guy like that?" And I said, "Which guy?"
yeah, I was just going to ask you that.
And he stared at me some more. But I think he respected the job reporters did. I mean, he had a number of jobs to play golf with him at his country club there, and he never admit. Here's a story. You would never admit that any quarterback was ever as good as Otto Graham. Right? Otto Graham was his quarterback in Cleveland, and Otto Graham had a great record. He was in pro football for 10 years, played in the championship game every year.
Well, yeah, he's the only one who ever won a championship for them.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And
well, actually,
Jim
Brown won one.
Yeah.
Jim Brown won one. Yeah. But anyway, so it was kind of the running. Yeah, like you asked me. So if I learned quickly when Paul was the general manager, if he'd come out to practice, go stand on the sidelines next to him because you're going to learn something, right? But it became kind of a thing with me and a couple other writers, like whatever year that was, whoever the hot quarterback was, right? It could have been Dan Marino, it could have been Roger Staubach or some whoever was the hot quarterback that year. Say, Paul, what do you think of Staubach this year? And Paul would go, yeah, he's good quarterback, but he's no Otto. And then it would be, what do you think of this Montana kid? Boy, he's really showing he's got it. And Paul goes, yes, he's having a fine year, but he's no Otto.
But toward the end, though, I mean, if he really would he still say Otto was the greatest quarterback who ever lived, though?
Yes.
You ask Otto,
well,
that,
and I'm
sure Otto wouldn't agree.
I can understand it, though. I mean,
it was good.
Hey guys, 1 year Otto Graham led the Cleveland Browns in passing touchdowns and rushing touchdowns.
Wow.
I remember hearing about that.
He was an interesting man. He went on. Otto Graham, for those that don't know, was a great quarterback for the Browns, as Mark was mentioning. But he also went on to coach briefly and did not have much success as a coach in the '60s. I remember when I was a kid. I think he coached the Browns, didn't he? Or Redskins. Yeah, that's right. The Redskins.
He coached the Coast Guard Academy for a while, and I think
he was
there.
Yeah.
And then every year, boy, now we're really going nostalgic. Remember every summer they used to have the college football all-star game?
Oh, yeah.
The college all-stars would play against the defending NFL.
Yep, I remember that.
Division game here. And Otto Graham always coached the college all-stars.
Interesting.
And 1 year beat them. 1 year beat the NFL. 1 year I think he beat the Packers.
Wow. Oh, that had to be humiliating.
Well, Mark?
Bart Starr was pretty good, but he was no Otto.
Well, Mark Purdy, it's been a pleasure having you on.
Hey, it's been a lot of fun. I told Bruce this. What I'm gonna miss is the tribe, the fellow members of the press box. Not so much the athletes or even really the game, just kind of that atmosphere in the press box that I feel really lucky to have been a part of for 3 years here.
We're gonna miss you too, man. I hope we see you from time to time.
I think the world will go on just fine, but I'm gonna miss the tribe.
All right. Take it easy, Mark. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mark is really one of the great guys that I've gotten to know in the media, and it's been a pleasure knowing him all these years, 34 years now.
All right, last trivia question. Although the Angels franchise began in 1961, they made the best of the remaining 39 seasons to end the 20th century. Who hit for the cycle twice as an Angel? Don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101. I'll be right back with some closing comments.
Who hit for the cycle twice? For the Angels, boy, that's a good one. Give that some thought.
Mark had some good stuff.
Yeah, it's he's like me. He can talk your ear off.
That's
great.
Good. That's what we need. Kind of eases it up for us.
Yeah. I'm thinking of going to lunch. I'm going to go get some lunch before I go surfing. What would be? Oh yeah, I won't go surf for an hour after I eat. I'm just wondering where would be a good place to eat around here.
Grapevine.
Is that pretty good?
They used to be here and they shifted over here.
Oh, okay, right across the street.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll try that.
I mean, just eat half of it because they'll give you a lot of food.
Actually, maybe I'd go to Beitai. They have that really good spicy Korean soup.
You like your Beitai.
Oh yeah.
All right, ready?
All right, yes sir.
There we go.
All right.
Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Bruce McGowan. And by the way, it was great having Mark Purdy on.
Good guy.
But he's no Bruce McGowan.
Well, we're in different fields. He's a writer. I'm a broadcaster.
No, he was great.
But we've sat next to each other a lot in the press boxes over the years. He's a great guy.
All right, here's our last trivia question. Although the Angels their franchise began in 1961, they made the best of the remaining 39 seasons to end the 20th century. Who hit for the cycle twice as an Angel? You will know the name.
Is it going back to the 60s?
I believe so. Late 60s, early 70s, maybe?
I was going to say Leon Wagner was there, but I don't think he did it. Bobby Knupp, Jim Fregosi.
Yes,
Jim
Fregosi.
Jim Fregosi coached for the Giants. I got to know him slightly. An interesting guy. He was a real crusty. Mark talked about crusty characters. They, hard drinking, hard living, great storytelling. Those are the kind of guys
And
we
was
love.
he in the late 60s, early 70s?
Yeah, he was a big star from the mid '60s to
Yeah.
probably. And then I'm trying to remember if he played for some other team. I don't think he may have, but he was a
Yeah.
great player for several years.
But something like Montreal or something like that.
Yeah, probably. My mind is hazy. So as we get older, the haze moves in. It's starting to get hazy around
Well,
here.
you're in San Francisco or Bay Area, so
Fog is coming in. Yes.
Okay, here's our quotes for the day. Texas A&M coach Shelby Metcalf, on a player who had a report card with 4 F's and a D. Son, it looks like you're spending too much time on one subject. I like that.
I like that. That's good.
And Rocky Graziano said, I quit school in the 6th grade because of pneumonia. Not because I had it, but because I couldn't spell it.
Good. He had a good sense of humor, too.
I like that.
Yeah.
Graziano, Marciano,
Yeah,
same thing.
They made a movie about him. Paul Newman starred in the role, I believe.
As Graziano?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, he was quite a champion.
He was.
He wasn't as good as Marciano, who was undefeated, but he was still pretty
undefeated.
good.
Who died in a plane crash too? Did you know
That's
that?
right. Yes.
He was only like 43 years old,
Yeah.
and he was interesting. He always would carry at least $10,000 with him in cash. Always.
Wow, that's a lot back then.
He didn't believe in banks. He kept most of his money hidden away in his house. Seriously, that's a true story.
All right, tune in next week.
We'll talk about it next week.
Next week. Okay, tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We're going to be discussing sports topics from a business perspective and asking more sports trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Good night, America.
So long.
What's you got Las Vegas up there? Let's
See it?
you got Las Vegas.
There's actually a conference I may be going
cool.
to.
I've only been to Las Vegas once. What a strange place that is.
Yeah, it's very odd. I don't
Very
really
strange place.